Hi Kerry, lovely, how are you? Hi Natalia. Hi Becky. Thanks very much for joining me this afternoon. I hope my voice lasts out. I've had a hacking cough all week, so just hoping it lasts out. I've got some water, so fingers crossed. And hopefully the internet won't let me down. I know it's been playing up all week, and I know several people have had problems with their lives, so I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that it all goes okay. Hi Connie. So I'll just give it a couple of seconds just to see if there's anybody else joining us. Hello Kim, hello Jean, nice of you to join me this afternoon. Right, I think I'm going to get cracking. Thanks Connie. So do I. I can cope with the cough, I can cope with the cold, but it's the not sleeping because I'm coughing, and that just drives me nuts. But hey ho, my problem, not yours. So the card I'm making today is this, well, a version of this card here, and I wanted to just show you how you can use your own backgrounds. So like we sort of went through making your own background on the Z-fold card that I did last week, but this background is a little bit more involved than one that was just purely sort of a couple of stencils and a couple of different ink colours. Hello Elizabeth, hi Sarah. So today I just wanted, I'm not going to do the background because the main piece that I want to do with you is this piece on the front, but I will just run through the background that I've done for today's card and tell you what I've used and how I've done it. Okay, so this is what we're basing the card on. So this is the background that I've done for today's card, and you can see it's a blue base rather than a green base today, and I have used several different of Lisa's stencils. The first one that I used was the Creative Words stencil, which is here, and that's this fabulous stencil here, and all I did was put it down on the card, masked it off so that my ink didn't go outside the words and onto the card, and then inked through the words. And same down here, and I've used those down there. So I've used the top 8 words, top and bottom of this card. Now I know this ink looks pink, trust me it isn't, it's a blue. I'm no idea why it's turned out looking pink. Hello Sharon, hi Christine. Thanks very much for joining me this afternoon. So yeah, I've no idea why this looks pink. It's definitely a blue. I have a feeling it is Stormy Sky. The background that I've used on here is Broken China. And all I've done is I've cut a piece of blue card. It's the American Craft cardstock. It's this colour blue. And then just inked all across the background with Broken China. Hello Wendy. And then I've gone ahead and used all my stencils on top of that ink. So it's obviously the reaction between the darker blue and the Broken China that's turned this looking like a pink colour. I was a bit disappointed at first, but to be honest, I thought no, just go with it and just see what happens. So that was the Creative Words that I've used. Then I used the Cogs Stencil, which I just think is fabulous. Great for a man's card, this. Still plenty in stock. I did write it down yesterday. Cogs. Yeah, there's actually only 3 in stock of this at the moment, so if you wanted this, then I'd be quick. It's only £4.99 and it's a fabulous quality, as are all Lisa's stencils. They're a 350 micron mylar, and the quality of the stenciling that it gives you is second to none. So that's a brilliant stencil, that. The Creative Words, there are 8 in stock of that, and again £4.99. Then I've used my ever so favourite Crackle Stencil. I didn't actually write this down because it was an afterthought, but I'm pretty certain that there are still several of those in stock. So again, I used that last week on the other background that I did. Could be Sarah, you never know. So that's the Crackle Stencil, and I've only used that once, and that's down this side. Again, I've obviously used the Stormy Sky through the Cogs Stencil, which again looks pink, but you know, hey hey. Hello Marilyn. Then I've used the, was that all the stencils I used? Yeah, on my original one, you can see I've used the Cogs here, but I actually used this script and ledger stencil as well. There's plenty of these in stock, because my ever so favourite stamp set, which is the background set, is gone and never to be seen again, and I like to see a bit of script on my backgrounds, so you can see, if you look carefully, that I have used that stencil there, which shows the script through it. But as I say, it's purely and simply a background for interest. You're not going to see half of it, so just, you know, go with the flow. I can see that I'm breaking up a little bit here, so when I put this onto YouTube you won't see any of that, so just bear with me and let's just hope it goes back to normal, fingers crossed. Then I decided to use some stamps, and the stamps that I've used are my music sheet, which is a fabulous stamp to use as a background stamp. I mean, you can use it as a main stamp obviously, but as a background stamp I think it's fantastic. There's only a couple of these left in stock and they're $9.99, and I have a feeling that when they're gone, they're gone. So if you want it, I'd be quick. And then I've used the postcard stamp, Postcards from the Edge this is called, and the reason I like this stamp is because when you stamp it you don't get a harsh line around the edge, and it does look fantastic when you use it as sort of with a torn edge, and then sponge the edge with ink so that it's it gives you an idea of you know, a tatty postcard that's sort of dropped in the water or something. Love this, and you can see I've used it a couple of times here, and this is my music sheet here, and that's basically everything that I've used on that background. And like I say, you're not going to see a lot of it. It's purely and simply just to give it lots of interest in the background. Okay, so those were the stamps that I've used on the background for today. Then as my main part of the card, I've used a smaller piece of white card, which I think is about 15.5 by 13.5 centimetres, and I've backed that onto a very slightly bigger piece of cream card, just to give it a bit of differentiation between this layer and this layer. I do like to see lovely matting and layering on cards. So this piece here, I've used Lisa's Nested Hearts die set. There are several of these in stock, so you know there's plenty for you to rush off and buy if you really wanted to. But the thing I like about these is the way they nest. With the squares and rectangles and circles, it's easier to get lots of dies. But the reason there's only 6 dies in this set is because when you're nesting something like a heart, you can't get it to sit right if you try and nest it within that first shape. It will pull the heart out of shape. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. And in order to keep the heart shape the same all the way through, you have to go with less dies. Whereas a circle's easy and a square's easy and a rectangle's easy, hearts are a little bit different. But I do think all 6 of those are so useful. And they might just fit in really, really well with something that's coming up later, which you may have already seen in the group, but I'm not saying any more. So I've actually used the second largest die to cut my heart out on here. And then obviously in the background you can see that again I've used my large foliage die set. There's 10 of these left in stock, $16.99 for 5 dies. And they're not, you know, they're not small dies, they're a really good size. I mean, those ferns, you know, they are a really good size die, aren't they? And these leaves here, you can cut these down, you don't have to use them as is, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm actually using 2 of these and cutting them down so that I'm only using little bits of them in places. So really fantastic die set to have in your stash. I would not be without mine. So that's those. And then I'm also using the 4-point blooms, which is one of Lisa's first releases. It's a stamp and die set, sold separately, but they go together, they complement each other. So if you wanted to, you could stamp the 4-point blooms and it will give you all the detail within the petals, or you can just use the die set and just stamp them out of your papers or card or whatever, and then colour them as you want afterwards. So I've only used the die set today, and I've cut them out of Lisa's Pretty Petals paper pad. Again, there's a few of those left as far as I know. I think there's about 5, £7.99, and again I have a feeling that when they're gone, they're gone. And they are the most beautiful papers you'll ever use. So I'll just show you how I've done the flowers in a little while. So to get cracking then, as I've said, I'm not going to do this background with you today because it does take a little bit of time. It's not difficult, it just takes a little bit of time to do, and I don't want to waste time doing that. So I've cut my heart out. I'm not doing this in full because I've already prepared one. This is one I prepared earlier. I'd have been brilliant on Blue Peter, you know. Thank you, Wendy and Natalia, for the links. Hi, Pat. No problem. Always catch up later. Right, so all I've done with this, again, I've cut it out of blue card, and I suppose you could cut it out of white and then go over it with blue. It's up to you, but I just chose to cut it out of white. And all I've basically done is just ink the heart from the edge, preferably without creasing it like I've just done there. Ink it from the edge all the way round, and then when you get to the middle, just go over that lightly so that your centre is slightly lighter than your edge. Okay, and then all I did on top of that was I stamped using the Distressed Bubble Wrap stamp. It's an A6 stamp, fabulous stamp, works beautifully, you get a fantastic image of it, and it is £9.99, as are all the A6 stamps. So the music sheet, the postcards, this one, I think there's a checked one and a wood grain one, and they're all £9.99. I think there are a few in stock of everything. The music sheet, there's only 2. The postcards, there's 6. And there's 10 of these in stock. So, you know, they're still there. And again, work perfectly, beautifully well with everything that Lisa brings out. So everything that she's already bought out is going to work with everything she's going to be bringing out. Trust me, I know, because I've done it. So that I would then stamp on top of that, which gives me this. And I wanted to do it like in preparation. I didn't want to do it today because when I stamped the bubble wrap, I actually used the Distress ink in a similar colour so that all my colours matched. But because the Distress ink will stay a little bit wet, I didn't want this to be wet while I was using it today, because I've done that before, and then I end up with ink on my white card where I don't want ink on my white card, and then I have to try and cover it up with something. So let's just get rid of this little bit of ink on here. I do love Lisa's non-stick messy mat because you can see where your ink is, whereas with the brown ones you can't. So I know I've got all my ink up there. Now this is going to go on here. Okay, this is my little piece of backing card which I'll just move to one side, and this is going to go to one side on here. I'm going to put this on with 3D glue, but I want to put a little bit of interest behind this using some stencils like I've done here on this one. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Harlequin stencil, and all I'm going to do is brush down the middle of this. So I'm not using the whole of the stencil, I'm just using the middle part so that I haven't got any harsh edges. I'm not taping it down because I'm lazy. So all I'm doing is just going through the middle like that. Okay, perfect, love that. And then what I'm going to do is just add some other stencils in different coloured inks just to give some sort of background interest. That's purely the only reason I'm using the stencil. Now I'm going to mask this off because I don't want the ink where I don't want the ink. You know what I mean, don't you? I want just one flower. This stencil was part of the bundle deal, the last show that Lisa released. What was the last show? Oh yeah. My mind's gone completely blank. Anyway, this stencil was part of the last release, and it came with the bundle. And I do like the little flowers that it gives you. So all I'm doing is I'm using a different ink. This is Stormy Sky. Now it's going to be blue on here. This is why you're supposed to tape it down, see, Dawn. You'd be lazy. This is Stormy Sky, but because I'm using it on white card, it is going to be blue. Now I don't mind if it's not all there. See, I've smudged it now. Perhaps it'd be better if I used one from inside rather than one on the outside. But you can see how quick and easy this builds up to give you a interesting background without too much work. I don't want that to move, so I'm going to have to hold on. Excuse me if you can't see because my hand's in the way, I do apologise, but I don't want my stencil to move. And Lisa's brushes do make this so quick and easy. That's better. I'll just put one over here because obviously my heart is going in the middle, so I'm going to be covering up a lot of this card with the heart and the flowers that are on top of the heart. But I just want to give it a little bit of interest in the background. I know my paper's moved, but you'll have more time than me to spend and not make a mess of it like what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that for that stencil. And then the other stencil that I'm going to use is this one. And this is part of the 4-set background stencils, which the Slimline stencils. And there's 5 left in stock of these. They're $14.99. There's 4 in the set. And again, for background, it doesn't matter what you use them for, but for backgrounds, to me, I just think these are lovely. In fact, I'm not going to use Stormy Sky. I'm going to use a different colour. I think I'll go with Faded Jeans. And again, all I'm doing is I'm not masking this one off because I don't mind what I get on here. I really want this circle that's cutting through the diamonds because I just love that broken circle. I'm going to go up here with that. I decided to do blue just so that it looked a bit different. I mean, it's okay to do the same colour if you want to, but I don't like I don't like making cards the same all the time, so I thought if I go a different colour scheme, then it's a bit different, isn't it? Okay, it looks nothing, and I know people have said, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying, but I know Tony's done backgrounds on cards and was disappointed with them, and like I said, walk away from it, put it away, go and do something else and go back to it. When you go back to it, you'll see it in a completely different light. If you don't like it, add something to it. If you still don't like it, throw it away. What have you lost? It's a piece of card at the end of the day, isn't it? It's nothing drastic. So, next thing I'm going to do is just add a little bit of shape on my heart, because I'm adding this with 3D glue and I want it to sort of stand proud on my card. So I want it to sit like that. Now you see, adding that already onto just that stenciling has changed the way the stenciling looks, to my mind. So I think if you're really not happy with something, just walk away from it, leave it, put it in your scrap box. You'll find it at some other point and you'll think, why haven't I used this? And you'll go away and you'll use it and it'll be brilliant. Trust me. So I'm going to add my 3D glue on here, and I'm going to add this to the card so that it's sort of setting in place, and then I'm going to make my flowers. Well, I've already made my flowers, if I'm honest, but I wanted to show you how quick and easy it is. Just use the die without a stamp, and then just shaping your flowers. So I just wanted to run through that with you quickly. So I'm going to add this on here like so, and just leave that to one side while I just quickly show you how I did my flowers. Okay, now the other thing I'm going to do just before I walk away from this, because I want to add this to here, I should have added this to my backing card before I put the heart on, but I forgot. So I'm just going to go round the edge of this card with chipped sapphire. Now I could use my brushes, but I like using a sponge on this bit because I just feel like I have a little bit more control. And you'll notice that I've put the ink on my mat purely and simply because chipped sapphire is quite a dark colour and I don't really want too much. I don't want it to be too heavy. So if I take it off here rather than off my ink pad, then it's not going to give me too much where I don't want it. And I've just gone slightly in on the corners because I just want it to have that sort of distressed look, if you like, which is quite apt as I'm using distress ink, I suppose, but I just want it to have that little bit of distressed look around those corners. Dead quick, dead easy. And I just think it just lifts a card just to give it that little bit of added interest around the edge. Okay, so I'll just add this on here while I think about it. You can see now why I should have done it before I put the heart on, because the heart is 3D and drying, and I should have put this down before I put the heart on the card, but all being well, we shall get it done, get it added, and it'll be fine. My nozzle on my glue has decided to break. Well, actually it bent, so I've cut a little bit off, but now it just won't do what I want it to do. So I'll just place that down there, and as you can see there's only the tiniest mat on here because that's really all I wanted. I didn't want a huge frame around this, I just wanted something subtle. Okay, I'll add that down there. Right, flowers. So I've cut these out, and as I say, I've cut them out of Lisa's Pretty Petals paper pad. Now there's several different colourways on the paper pad. Sorry, excuse me. There's like a blue base, a green, a yellow, a pink and a brown, and all the floral prints are based on those colours, so there are different shades to each set of pages. So you get the same flowers but with a different base colour to it. I'm sure you know what I mean. What is the colour called? Which colour? Are we back? Are we back online? Yes, I think we are. Are you all back? I'm just going to carry on, and hopefully you'll all come back in and join back in, and then hopefully when it goes down onto YouTube it will be okay. I'm so sorry about that. I'm not sure if it's the internet or the storage on my phone, to be honest, but we'll keep going and hope for the best. So all I'm doing is literally brushing the edges of these flowers with ink. This is Faded Jeans that I'm using. The colour that I used on here was Chipped Sapphire. I've used on the background, I've used Chipped Sapphire, Faded Jeans, Stormy Sky and Broken China. So those are the 4 colours that I've used. Okay, looks like we're all slowly finding our way back. I'm so sorry about that. Right, so literally all I'm doing is brushing the edges of these petals on here with a brush, and that's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm not going to do them all because I've already made my flowers and now I've got a bit of time to catch up on. So literally that's what I do. Brush it on from the... Sorry, are we back? Are we back? We're back. So literally all I'm doing is going on the back of the leaves in a circular motion with a ball tool to shape the leaves, turn them over, put the ball tool in the middle and just shape them so that they sit upright like that. Okay? Hopefully you can see what I mean when I say shaping them. So I'll just put those to one side. Just have a quick clean that ink up there and hope that I don't lose you all again. Right, so I've done my flowers ready and I've done my leaves in exactly the same way. Now this large foliage, you know I love, and yes, I've gone with blue. I know you don't normally get blue leaves. You can get bluish leaves. Eucalyptus have a sort of a bluey green leaf, don't they? So this is called artistic license. It won't matter that you don't get blue leaves, don't worry about it. Go with whatever you want. So now it's just about placing what you've made onto your heart so that they're where you want them to be. Okay? And that's about where I want them to be. Now I've said to you before, you don't have to use this foliage as is. You can use small pieces of it, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now all I've done with these again is using one of Lisa's brushes is I've just brushed ink across the leaf, and then I've gone with a darker colour just across the bottom part, and then just used white gel pen just to add a little bit of interest to the leaves. Okay, and then all I'm going to do to shape them is just roll them in my hand round a paintbrush handle. It's probably a bit big, that one. I usually have it on my desk, but never mind. Just to give them a little bit of interest, just shape them in my hand so that they're not sitting flat on the card. Okay, and then those are going probably on there. I think I'll put one at the bottom, like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue underneath here so that these don't move, okay? And then this one is going on the top here, so that I've got some depth to my pieces, and they're not all in one layer, okay? So that's going there, and then that's going there, and then I want a leaf that comes down this side. So again, I'm chopping into these, and I think I'm going to use this piece. I'm going to take that one leaf off, and then I'm going to put that there so that it comes down onto the card. I'm going to cut this piece off, okay? So if I take that off there, it's fiddly till you've placed everything, you know where you're going with everything, but it will sort of take shape soon, okay? So that's going on there. I'm not going to glue this down until afterwards because I'm conscious of this internet going again, and I don't want that to happen. So that's where I'm going to place my leaves, and then because it's me, I'm also going to be putting pearls in my flowers because I just think it sets them off, and there'll be 4 around the edges here as well. And then what I'm going to do is glue it down on my base card like so, and then I'm going to add my sentiment. Right. Hi Claire, no problem, my internet's playing up anyway, so yeah. So then I'm just going to add my, in fact I won't glue it until I've put the leaves in place. I'm going to add my sentiment on there, and because it sits over the edge of the heart, I'm just going to pop a little bit of 3D glue under this end, so it sort of sits level, if you like. So I think because I'm conscious of the internet flipping in and out, I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm gonna finish this off and then put a picture of it in the group afterwards. I just want to flick through the comments just to see if I missed. Right, everybody was back there. The flower, Connie, the flowers are so easy. Lisa's die set, that 4-point blooms die set, makes it so easy to cut and produce flowers. I think there are, let me see how many dies there were in it. So there's 12 dies in the set, and you get 5 petals. I mean, I've only used 3 on here and 2 on here, but you can build them up to be really, really full flowers, and then they look fabulous. She also gives you the little leaves, so there's 3 little leaves if you wanted to add those on as well and not use these, and you get 2 little scrolls as well. But what she also gives you are these 2 little circles, and these are the centres for your flowers. So if you don't want to use pearls, or you haven't got any pearls, you can use these, cut these out of a different colour card and add these to the middles, so that they give you the centre of your flowers, and they work beautifully as well. As I say, the stamp set that goes with it, if you wanted to stamp them first, it will give you all the veins on the petals. So, you know, there's 2 completely different looks there, but both equally as stunning. So let me just flip through the... Yeah, I like the blue leaves as well, Natalia. I think they just... I was going to do them green, and I thought, no, I want it to be a blue card, so... oh, I'm glad you like it, Pat. You'll love the foliage set. It's one that I'm so glad I ordered, because I don't want to be without it ever. Well, hopefully when you catch up later, Claire, it'll be all in one rather than broken up, so fingers crossed. If you cut the smallest square die out of the Yeah, could do. It's whatever works for you, Sarah, at the end of the day. I mean, I've just always used post-it notes, to be honest, because they're cheap, and it works perfectly. So right, okay, I've caught up with all your comments. I'm sorry about the internet problems, but I will finish this and I'll place it into the group this afternoon, and then I'll download the video, hopefully without any breaks in it, so it'll be okay. So I will love you and leave you for now. Don't forget Lisa's live at 7 o'clock tonight, because you're going to absolutely adore what she's going to be bringing you. They're just amazing. Never been seen before, nothing like it. Absolutely incredible. So 7 o'clock, Lisa's page, or in the group, because we'll share it, so don't worry about that. Claire's back with you Tuesday, and then hopefully Natasha will be with you on Wednesday. Don't forget the May challenge, pink, blue and lemon. There's been some beautiful entries so far, so keep up with that. You can enter as many times as you like, and there's a fabulous prize at the end of the month. So you've got quite a while to get your entry in. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry about the breaks for the internet, but hopefully the YouTube will be perfect. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy Lisa's live tonight, and I hope you catch the shows next week. And I will see you again next Friday. Thanks very much for joining me. Bye for now.